Hi guys, so I am here to talk about my favorite book. One of my favorite books is Book of 1,000 Days. This book basically is about a girl named Dashti, and she ends up being a maid to a princess and who is locked up in a tower. So she ends up being a maid, and she basically is about a journal. It's her journal. This book is her journal. That's the preface of it. And then my next one is the Phantom Tollbooth. And yes, I still have the half price thing on. So basically what this is there's this little boy named Milo, and he doesn't know what he wants to do with himself. Let me read the first couple of sentences that kind of just explains who boy named Milo who didn't know what to do with himself. Not just sometimes, but always. It's a really cool preface. He ends up getting this toll booth box, and he ends up building it at his house, and then it takes him to a whole new world. So basically this book is about that whole new world. It's a really interesting book, and I really enjoy it. Let's go with Northhanger Abbey by Jane Austen. This is just, I love this book. This book is basically the story about Catherine Morland, who she's kind of a girl who loves to read and just kind of loves to be in her own environment. Is a little bit shy, but still, not too shy. They can't talk. But and it's just kind of the story of her moving to Bath, England, her meeting people there, and she also reads Gothic novels. So there ends up being a time where she gets so involved with the Gothic novel world that she doesn't know between reality and this Gothic novel world. Is the Time Travel Wife. Such a good book. I feel like everyone in their lifetime should read this book. It is amazing. Amazing. Great book. I just love I love stories when they go back to the beginning where they have different points of view. Divergent. Amazing. I love this book. It's very good. If you haven't seen the movie, definitely read the book first and then the movie. I'm going to be really sad when Allegiant comes out near the end. Next book. Between the Lines between Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. This is just an amazing book. I love it so much. Basically what this book is about is that it's a book about a girl named Delilah, and she is reading this kind of middle school grade fantasy book, and she's in high school, so some people, she likes to kind of hide a book because to some people would think that it's weird to read it. But she ends up loving the characters, and there's a prince there, and then basically she ends up falling in love with the prince, and it's Prince Oliver's his name, and he talks to her. And so then this is a story of trying to get him out. And then there's a sequel. So I give this one 5 stars. Love this book. And then I give this one, which is companion non-sweet sequel, basically. But basically this story is once they get Prince Oliver out of the world, the story behind that, and it was, okay. I really like the first book better. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This is so good. And you can even see all my notes that I had from freshman English. Anyway, but it's just, this is such a good book, especially just learning more about society, what society thinks, and how you combat that in a graceful way. Basically, this story is about a little girl, and it talks about her living in the South, I think, and about her and her family, and her dad's a lawyer. Basically, one time he gets a case for an African American, and just trying to combat it, they didn't really, during this time, I think this was in the 1960s, they really didn't like African Americans, and so he had a hard time with it. And so this is also about the trial, and then just about her story and her character growth, and it's just a really good story. But if you haven't, read it because it's really good. And also, I'm going to suggest Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. And I'm just reading this right now. Basically, the feeling of this book is kind of eerie, spooky. It has like a horror undertone, so it's not like a horror book, but it has that creepy undertone. So basically, the narrator's grandpa, I think he fought in World War II, and he found this orphanage. And in this orphanage, they have peculiar children. They have these special powers. See, like, if you look here, you see, like, the shadow, she's floating. And something's up with this picture. I don't know. That looks definitely creepy. It kind of looks like the author. And they have pictures. See? Pictures and their little description. Yeah, so like this first one, here's Apiston, a boy who commands and protects the many bees that live in his stomach. That's a fun life. No, not really. Claire Densmore, a girl with an extra mouth in the back of her head, the youngest of Miss Peregrine's peculiar children. Fiona Fraunfeld, a silent girl with a peculiar talent for making plants grow. That's a pretty good power. I would like that power. Alma LaFay Peregrine. Yimburn, shapeshifter, manipulator of time. Oh, that's what it is. She's like a time manipulator. That's kind of, it has to do something. Headmistress of Hare Holmes Loop, arrested in burned form. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like this video. Thanks. Bye.